So here we go. Back in my first video, I had taken the snowblower out on the B2650, and this is where my leach field would be. I'm pretty much standing where the septic tank is, and I wanted to get some of this snow that I blow from keeping my patio and my bulkhead entrance all clear, just in case I need to get to it. I keep a nice path over here so I can get to my propane tank and my oil tank. And I always blow the snow this way because that's, when you're dealing up against the house, there's only really one place that you can kind of blow it. And I always end up with a lot of snow sitting here. It takes forever to melt because I do have a lot of trees. It takes a while for the sun to get in. So I did blow a lot of it. It's very hard. This has got to be 3 feet or better in this section. I'm not too worried about that, but where my leach field is, it just seems to hold water, and for some reason in my head that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have your leach field saturated in water. So I thought this year I would remove as much snow as I could, and we've had some warm-ups. A few days ago I put the front end loader on. It was almost 60 degrees, or it did hit 60 degrees. So we did get a little bit of melt, and now we're back down in the teens, which is good in the fact that I can maybe get the front end loader in. I want to remove the rest of that snow that's sitting over there that I didn't do with the snow blower at the time. So give me a good opportunity. I don't know what kind of traction I'm going to get with that ice. But again, it's a good opportunity for me to do it now, where I won't be making ruts or driving on top of my leach field when it's soft. So, see how it goes. I may not get any traction. I may not be able to dive right into that. It is solid. You know, it's been super saturated from melting and then freezing. So it could be just like an iceberg. I may not get anywhere, but I thought I'd try. This in 4-wheel drive. I'm only in 2-wheel drive right now. For those of you that have a little bit of an issue shifting sometimes into 4-wheel drive, sometimes you got to play with the hydrostatic transmission, work it back and forth just a little bit to take some pressure off the gearbox, I'm guessing, to be able to make that switch, or the transfer case. Saw somebody else posted how they did this. You can actually lift the front end up a little bit with your bucket, and it takes a little pressure right off there and allows you to switch it right in real easy. I find it to be pretty handy, so let's go see if we can get into this pile. pretty happy with that. What a beast this thing is. I tell you, I wasn't really slipping and sliding. I was on complete ice, regular turf tires. The bucket had no problem cutting through all that stuff. Makes me even think that if I get another really cold morning, which I think we're supposed to have a few of them, I may just try to tackle a bunch of this snow that's sitting in my yard. I mean, it'll be just that much further ahead getting into the growing season. And I'd really like to have a nice yard this year. I am going to show you something that is really helpful, especially sitting in this tractor. Now let me turn all this stuff off. They have a self-leveling guide down here. On my old BX, they had a label that was attached to the loader. And I guess the idea behind that, you know, I got used to it, but the idea behind that was if you could read the label on there, I believe it said Kubota, then you were level. You know, you kind of had to use your eye a little bit, but, you know, the idea was if you could read that little curve on there, then you were level. This is actually a rod that comes out. I'll take the camera out here in a second, and you can adjust it because obviously people sit differently, different heights, so their eye is going to be a little bit different. But if you line those two things up on the rod and then what's on the actual boom of the front end loader, that should tell you that your bucket or whatever attachment you have is at level ground. I haven't adjusted it perfectly yet as I just switched this over, but it seemed to be pretty darn close. We'll see when we get out there. Right now it looks like I may have it tilted just slightly forward, I would say, but I'll show you that. So as you can see, this is pretty level right here. Get down the best I can. You know, we are on ice and snow, so the ice and snow level isn't that level. But here's that rod I was talking to you about, if you're not familiar with it. We'll get right in here. Here's the piece that you can adjust. You just unscrew this, move it up and down. When this matches is lined up, and you can see it really easy from the cab, but when these two are actually lined up with each other, that means that theoretically your bucket should be level with the ground. So very nice to have that. I think it's an add-on on some of the other stuff, but on the B2650, at least with the cab edition, it is standard, I believe, on there. So thanks for coming along for the ride. If you like the channel, I am going to continue to try to do videos. I'll try to do better videos, and hopefully my instruction will become better. And at some point I'll do a cab tour, because that's one thing I watched a bunch of videos on. So I'll go through that, go through the tractor a little bit more. But I'd appreciate a little thumbs up and subscribe, share with your friends if you'd like. And we'll see you on the next journey. So, decided to come out here and play a little bit more after my first video from this morning. After work, just came out, did a little bit more loader work, and it's quite impressive as far as what this thing can lift. I mean, there was some big chunks of stuff. I just, you know, coming from a smaller tractor to going to the next size up, it's just flabbergasted me. So anyway, I thought I'd just reverse this around if I can figure out how. So there's the La534 on the B2650. You can kind of see. I mean, I would guess that bucket is probably 1.5 feet tall, so 18 inches. It's probably in its highest spot, probably another 18 inches on top of that. But it's just, it's tearing into this. Some of it's chunky and some of it's a little bit hard to get right into. You got to take a little off the top and then work your way down. But It is lifting chunks of stuff that I just didn't think was even possible. I was kind of disappointed I didn't record, but you can kind of see some of the things that it was picking up on its own. You know, these are big chunks of snow. I mean, tons of weight. So it's getting a little bit soft out here, and I don't want to be on my lawn when that happens. So I will wait for another morning when it freezes. Big thing being, I do want to get some of this stuff off the lawn, because this will just take forever. And I'll just have that much of an earlier start. Thanks for watching.